guys, just checking in, just finishing up a couple of weeks here at Pemba Mozambique at the Irish base. Just walking to church this morning and thought maybe I would give you a quick 10-second tour of the base here. This is a prayer garden behind me, and behind that is where the Harvest School meets for most of their classes. They've got 250 students from all around the world in the Harvest School right now. It's a 10-week program, highly recommended. Back there is secondary and middle school. They have 4,000 students from the community in two shifts, 2,000 in the morning and 2,000 in the afternoon, and they feed them 2 meals a day. This is different housing for different groups and people that come in. I actually stay right behind that hut. That's what's called a visitor center. If you're not with the global or the Harvest School, or if you're not with the Bible school, then you stay there. These are more places to stay and admin offices. And then down there's a big soccer field that's open to the community. There's a medical clinic where I went and got antibiotics, just getting over this nasty chest infection. They see 150 people a day. Behind it, they're building a maternity ward that's also a training center for local doctors and physicians. And also behind there is the Bible school. When people come to Christ here and are called to the ministry, they come to the Bible school for 3 months at a time with their families, and then they repeat that for 5 years. It's a 5-year program, 3 months at a time. They have an English school going on every day. They have a youth worship service every night down there. They have food distribution down there as well every day. Widows ministry. They'll give widows food for a month. That little house there behind the tractor is a baby and toddler house. And then the church building's down there. A little white building is Heidi's office, and where the meetings are held for the outreaches. And I think the outreaches are one of my most favorite things so far in these 2 weeks.
There's several outreaches that go out each week, some local and some as far as 3-day drive away. The leaders and pastors pray and coordinate. The teams are sent out in different vehicles. And as they drive up, I'll get the plane ready, and then we'll head on out. A few days ago, one of the ground teams drove over 8 hours to the Tanzanian border where Irish has planted a handful of churches, and we flew up there in less than an hour with some of the leaders, and were met by the church, and just thrilling beyond description. And then we'll head out from there. And the first thing that Heidi and Roland have been doing for years is take the time to meet the chief and honor them. And they emphasize you go low and go slow, and really seek the favor and the blessing of the chief before we can go into the village and share the good news of the gospel. The second village that I went to, 5 of the 7 tribal leaders were followers of a different faith. And here at the end of our time, the chief stood up and said, "You are most welcome to the tribe, and please go to every hut and every family. And you have just access to this village to share with them the good news that you have brought with you." And then depending on the team and the outreach, some will focus on agriculture, others healthcare, others well digging. And most of the outreaches will set up the Jesus film in the local dialect. And it's just amazing to be a part of. And following the film, there will be an invitation to follow Christ and an invitation to receive healing. And it's just extremely powerful.
Em nome de Jesus. Marina limwe Yesu.
And then we will sleep in our tents, and the next morning go out in groups of 2 or 3, along with 1 or 2 Mozambicans, and listen and pray with the people and ask God to reveal himself and his love and power. At this village, there were over 100 people saved and baptized. There were 3 little girls that were deaf since birth that received healing, and it was just awesome to be a part of. In this town, Iris had just completed digging a well, and Heidi is talking to the chief and his wife about the living and eternal water of Jesus. And this town was so grateful because they had to walk up to 2 days just to get water. And many of the wells like this one are dug right outside of the church as a reminder that God really is the only source of quenching our thirst. So the partnership with the local church is absolutely key, and I have the highest regard and the deepest respect for the pastors of these local churches in the impoverished villages. They're incredible. Most of the team will stay on for another couple of days, but those that need to get back to their own church or a Bible school classroom will load up in the plane and head on back. And the flying, of course, is extremely enjoyable. The Kodiak is very powerful and very tough and very, very fun to fly. It seats 10 people with lots of room for supplies, and it was designed by Mission Aviation pilots for Mission Aviation pilots. It's just a blast. I am so grateful to be here, though I am missing my family quite a bit, and my church family as well. So I am looking forward to getting home soon. So over and out for now.